Great logos own their silhouettes. If you look at these examples on the right, you've got the Apple, Nike, and McDonald's logo, and you can instantly recognize these logos in black and white. They don't need color. They have a solid brand and solid logo icon that works. Here's one of the fastest ways to test if a logo actually works. You can remove the color, remove the name, remove the gradient, and remove every extra detail. And then turn it into one solid color. I would suggest black. And see if people can still recognize it. And if it loses its meaning by just changing it to one solid color, then the shape is probably not strong enough. And if you look at all these three examples on the right, and if you look at all these three examples on the right, they all pass this and you can recognize them in one solid color. And that's because they have a very strong shape and icon. And most often, turning your logo into one color, especially if it's not strong enough and is using multiple colors, will just turn your logo into a blob. And if your logo only works because of the color, the font, the name beside it, then your shape and your icon is not strong enough. So in this video, I'm going to show you why great logos own their silhouette and how this one simple test exposes weak logo design instantly. So let's get into it. So tip number one is to test it in black. So doing this isolates all the other visual elements that is in your logo. And I see this all the time. A lot of businesses have multiple different colors and elements in their logos, and the logos is too complicated. Your logo is not supposed to be like a mood board. It's just supposed to be a simplified version of your business and what you do. So not necessarily needs to be what you sell, but it does need to have some uniqueness about it that makes it simply yours. So instead of having the name, it will be the logo, the simple icon that basically illustrates that this is your business and no one else's. And having this test in black shows you if there's multiple different elements, and if it's not recognized in black and white and it doesn't work just like it did beforehand, then it means that your logo is not strong enough and it requires other elements besides the icon itself to help it come out to life. And logos like Apple, Nike, and all the famous brands out there, and it's a strong mark, so it works in just one color and doesn't need multiple colors to make them recognizable. So you need to make sure you isolate your logo down to one solid color, and I would recommend black, to test this out and make sure that your icon and your logo works in black and white first before going out there and changing the colors and trying other variations and other elements. It's okay to have more than one color in your logo as a final result, like shell, for example, down the line. But it's equally important to make sure, especially in the design stages, to make sure that your logo works solid on just black and white, because then it means it ticks this box and is simple enough and recognizable enough that you can go away and add other colors and other variations to it. And the rule here is if the silhouette is unmistakable, then the logo is doing its job. So tip number two, the logo doesn't really need a name, especially if it's doing its job. If you build a solid brand icon and a solid logo, you don't really need the name to stand with the logo every time. Over time, it will become recognizable by itself and it doesn't need any further assistance. The McDonald's and Shell logo work perfectly even without a name. Their shape and the icon has become so distinctive that their name has become optional for them. So aim for a logo and a silhouette that works on its own first, then bring in the other elements as we discussed. So aim for a shape so distinct that the name becomes optional. Tip number three is the outline test. And the outline test is a great way to actually test if your logo is valid. So in this example, the Nike swoosh is one of the cleanest examples of a logo that survives in a single shape. And it's because it's really smooth and it's really simple and abstract that even without the name, the color, extra detail, it works perfectly. And this is what you want to aim towards, because if you have a strong shape that works on its own as a solid color, even as simple as an outline, then you have something that is a winning icon and a winning mark that you can keep, and it will be timeless, it will be versatile, it will work really well on everything that you put it on. So before you go and make it fancy and add extra elements and the colors and so on, make sure that your logo is cut down to the most simple version and the most simple form, and in this case is the outline. Design a mark that survives a single shape is the rule here. Moving on, tip number four is simple shapes win. And a busy mark collapses. So in this case, you can see on the left, it's just too many elements going on and it's not recognizable. And on the right, you have the Apple logo. It's just simple and in a solid color and a solid form. And it works right away. It's instantly recognizable. And the less element you have and the less complex your logo and icon is, then the more likely that the audience will remember your brand and your mark and your logo. So keep this in mind. And details that vanishes in silhouettes will never pull their weight. So test every logo as a solid shape first and make sure that you remove extra elements, because simplicity wins every time. So think about what you can take away from the logo without it losing its meaning. So test every logo in a solid shape first and remove everything that's not supposed to be there. So ask yourself, does your logo pass these tests? Does it pass a single color? Does it pass the outline? And does it work? And is it recognizable right away? And is it different to everything else out there in your niche? This is one of the logo examples that I made for a brand called Fox Energy. And you could see that it works in a single color and it also works in multiple colors. And then I go ahead and test out different colors. And you can see it works in one solid color and you can recognize it right away. And you don't need to add extra elements and so on to make it fancy. Now, the brand itself has different colors and it has an orange color as well. But in this example, it works perfectly on the black and white. And this is what you want to aim towards. And it also works on the outline version as well. That's because it's simple enough that you can recognize it right away. And this is what you want to aim for when you're designing your logo and your brand. Make sure that it passes these tests. So make sure you design the silhouette and the icon first as a solid color, because everything else that comes later on is just decoration. And if you do this, you will stand out from the rest of your competition and stand out against your market, because a lot of people are failing at this point. And if you want a brand that stands out from the rest, you can click the first link in the description to book a 30-minute free consultation call with myself, and I'll try and see if I can help you in any way I can. Thank you guys for watching my video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you very much.